What's going on, everybody? Welcome into another episode of Profit Picks. If you are new, we always start this show by being transparent. Yesterday, good day, 2-0 day, much needed 2-0 day. Aces team total under 82 and a half or 81 and a half, whatever you got was a winner. And then I had the full game under 159 and a half. So love that. Try to keep that going here today. Rob Veno, how was everything for you yesterday? How are you doing today?
I'm good today, Skee. Yesterday was a nothing day for me because I didn't play. I found out a little too late that Tiffany Hayes was going to be in the starting lineup. Otherwise, I would have played and I probably would have lost with +5 on Golden State. But luckily for me, I didn't see it until late. Didn't get there. So we're going to start tonight. We got 3 games. See what we can do with these. I kind of like a couple of these. So see if we can get paid here.
Let's do it. 3 games. We'll go in rotation order like we always do. That means first up is 613, 614. Dream and Sky opened up -9.5 for Atlanta on the road. Now up, I'm seeing pretty much 11s, couple 10.5s. Total open 158.5, and it's as high as 161.5. Depending where you shop, a lot of different numbers out there. For Atlanta, Ryan Howard out, Griner out, Maya Caldwell out. So I mean, it looks like more players than usual. Um, and I don't necessarily think Griner is that big of a deal anymore, but few players out for Atlanta. For Chicago, no Angel Reese, but Ariel Atkins is game time. I'm pretty sure I saw her at shoot around or a tweet that says she participated in shoot around. Haley Van Lith and Onion Wary are probable. Atlanta's been playing really well, Vino. I'll say this. If you think Atlanta's gonna win, like majority of their wins, they've been hitting 85 points. I know that at least. So I'm not sure what the team total we're looking at for today, but maybe that's an option if you think they're gonna score. But I'm curious, how are you looking at this game today?
Well, that's exactly how I looked at it, Ski. At first, I looked at it as a full game over. The game time decision on Ariel Atkins kind of pushed me off a little bit. Then I did see the footage of her at practice or at shoot around this morning. So we're kind of in between here. Depending upon what you read, the team is going to be cautious with her. Maybe the team does start her. Not really sure. So I thought the dependable thing here was the Atlanta offense. The team total is 85.5 at this point in time. Like you say, they've been scoring like crazy. I think it's 88 plus in 5 of their last 6. So you got to even without Maya Caldwell, even without Brittany Griner. You know, the one thing about Griner, Ski, which led me to full game over at the beginning of this handicap, is that it's a little less shot blocking or rim protection there. And perhaps Chicago with Cardoso, with Elizabeth Williams, they did a good job last game against Washington. Maybe could do the same here and help Chicago score points. But the Chicago defense is something I like to fade at this point in time. And the other day, Atlanta got off to a 12-point first quarter and wound up scoring 99. They scored 87 points in 3 quarters. The offense has just been that good. It looks like they'll probably go with Pow Pow in the starting lineup here, which, like I said, it shortens them up and maybe makes them a little weaker defensively, but certainly not offensively. So where I stand on this game is I played the Atlanta team total over 85.5. And I may go back in and play the full game over, because if Ariel Atkins is in, it's probably a better than 160.5 final score here. So that's the way I'm looking at this one.
Yeah, this one's a little tough for me. The Sky before the previous game they did fire their coach, right? And we always talk about that. Every sport, it doesn't even matter when the team fires the coach. We or when an organization fires a coach, you see the team and the players step up. I'm just curious if they can keep that going here for another night, if they can contribute. I'm not into laying 11 with Atlanta. I'll tell you that, especially on the road. So from a side perspective, I'm only trying to find reasons to back Chicago. I'm not sure if that magic will continue, but I think everybody will play except for Angel Reese, and that's a little healthier than they have been. We'll move it over to the next game. How about that? That looks like Fever and Mercury. And I have a little bit more opinions, I think, on this game. Opened up -6 for Phoenix, and it's come down pretty much to 3.5 everywhere. Total open 170.5, and it looks like it's up as high as 173. Injury report. So we did have a trade. JC Sheldon was traded from the Sun to the Mystics for Aaliyah Edwards. And I mean, Leah Edwards is listed as, and I'm pretty sure she's not going to play. She just got traded there today. Bria Hartley was downgraded yesterday to questionable with an illness, and she's still listed as questionable right now. As far as I'm looking at the wrong game. Vino, you just let me go on the wrong one.
I'm just wondering if we're starting a trend here with skipping games. Because we did it the other day too. We skipped ahead.
You know what it is? It's my bad, but usually this is in order as well, and this one was not in order. So that's my bad on that. It's only Caitlin Clark out for this game. So I'm gonna just pass it to you, Ravino, since I didn't even know what game we were talking about.
We got Indiana still on the road, Skee at Phoenix here. Phoenix did get that 16-point win the other day against Connecticut. You could treat it two different ways. I mean, they did hold Connecticut to 6 points in the first quarter. Phoenix did. They got out to the big start, a huge lead. And some might say they took their foot off the gas and just coasted the rest of the way, but they did get outscored by the Sun the final three quarters, 60-58. And they barely covered that number, right? I think they were laying 15. They won by 16. I know they covered, but it was really, really close, and it probably shouldn't have been close. Satu Sabali came back and played a really good game. Looks like all things have been mended there, no problem. And Alyssa Thomas, I believe, had a triple-double in that game, if I'm not mistaken. So the front line was really, really good. It's a good matchup against Indiana here. Indiana's defense has been shredded as of late, but their offense has been amazing, to say the least. Of course, when you play LA, you should look amazing. I think they had 4 turnovers, Skee, in that game. The Indiana Fever assist to turnover ratio was the best there's been in the WNBA this year for a single game. I think it was like 5.2 something assists to turnovers. So they're playing really well offensively, giving it up defensively. It just seems like it should be an over in this contest. A lot of money on the Fever. That was my initial look, because I don't like the way, like I say, even though Phoenix won by 16 last game, I just don't like the way they closed it out the final three quarters. We'll see. Maybe they did just let off the gas and they'll take this one a little more serious against Indiana, but I feel like Indiana is probably a bit more desperate as far as needing a win is concerned. Had their 5-game win streak broken the other night. Haven't played it yet. I would probably look. I think the value in Indiana is gone. Let me put it that way. I don't think I want plus 3.5 anymore. If you got 6, if you got 5, you did a good job. But I still could be talked into playing over 172.5 here, because Indiana's defense just hasn't really been good at all.
And that's all they talked about. I've heard them say the same thing, but after games like they just had, I think it was Natasha Howard who was talking about it. She said, their defense starts everything. If they're not getting the stops, then they're not going to be able to do the things that they do on offense. Pretty much saying everything starts on defense. And after you give up 100 points, you don't got to be a rocket scientist to know that should be the focus in the next game. Or at least that's how I think about it. For the Mercury, let me go to their schedule really quick. They played the Fever, gave up 107. Even though they scored 101, they gave up 107 and lost. Then they went the next game and gave up 95 to Atlanta and got blown out and lost. And in that next game, they played Chicago, which, Chicago's not the best. But it was the second half of that game where they really ramped up the defense and started to run away with it and play better. And I remember it was the coach and it was Alyssa Thomas talking about the defense for the Mercury, and how that's what, flipped, and that's where they need to focus to get back on track. They follow that up, holding Connecticut to 66 points, I see two teams focused on defense. I don't agree with the over in this game. I think it's more of an under game. Anything else you want to say before I want to talk about the side a little bit, but total wise.
Real quick, Skee, on the total, Indiana's last 8 games, the closing line has been off by 12 points or more. Either way, over or under. The closing line has been off by 12 points or more in 7 of their last 8. Either with these recent numbers, either you're going to see a game that's easily under or a game that gets easily over. Whichever way you like, you should play. But these Indiana totals have not come close. The 8th game, the only one that hasn't had a closing total miss by at least 12 was a game against Dallas here where it missed by 9.5, almost double digits in 8 straight. So totals have not been close in Indiana games to the over or to the under. It's an interesting thing with Indiana. And I just want to get back real quick to what you said about, wow, I mean, give me 1 second here because I'm just going back through my data results here. And if you take Indiana games back 8 more, you're going to find that 14 of their last 16 closing totals have missed the number by at least 10.5 points. That's crazy. Double digits. Their totals are never close. It's either over or under by a wide margin. So keep that in mind. Whichever way you like tonight, play it that way. You probably get a good result. And real quick, back to what you were saying about Natasha Howard talking about defense. Sophie Cunningham started that talk like about a month ago. We need to be in better position. We need to do this. We need to do that. And they've just been so up and down like a yo-yo. So we'll see. I don't know. It's like when we talk about the Aces and their defense. Are we going to see it or are we not going to see it? Indiana's kind of that team.
And I'm thinking about it a little further. I mean, I guess I could look right here and it would tell me just the head-up record. But standings-wise, I mean, things are starting to get a little bit closer, right? I mean, I'm looking at these two teams, 18-11 versus 17-13. Fever did beat them last game. I mean, I think this is a pretty important game is kind of what I'm trying to get at. Just like I thought the game yesterday was a pretty important game. This is also for the Fever, their 4th straight game on the road. Maybe a little bit of travel fatigue for them. All right, on that note, yes, I think it's an under game, but I think it's a spot that favors the Mercury. Like I said, Fever traveling 4 straight games. It's a revenge game for the Mercury. They're coming off back-to-back blowout wins. They're playing a little bit better. Granted, they're against lesser teams, but they're getting back into a rhythm. And this is an important game at the house. I feel like it's getting too close to a pick'em here, Rob Veno. At this point, it's a one-way ticket. It's Phoenix or nothing.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with that, Skee, at all. Like you say, it is an important game, and more. I guess you could make a case for both sides of the importance. Indiana's got the worst record, but Phoenix, as you mentioned, wants to make sure that they win for the season series end of it. So, big game. Maybe Phoenix was saving a little something. Those last 3 quarters against Connecticut might have coasted. Looking forward to this. The good news for them, like I said at the start of this, is that Sabali came back and played really well. And Phoenix needs that. When that front line is playing the way they did, Sabali and Thomas combined, they're pretty tough to stop. They sometimes make threes, sometimes don't. But when they do, they're almost impossible to stop. So, yeah, 4th road game for Indiana. I could see Phoenix at this point. I guess most people just thought 6 was too much for Phoenix to push it down 2.5 points because it seems like a really drastic move with no injury situation in this game.
Yeah, I think everybody just bets the Fever all the time, honestly. That's kind of what I think. And you never really see the Fever +6, So I think people saw that number and just jumped on it, really. But we'll see how it shakes out. I'm thinking either Mercury or under. Maybe both. Last game on the slate, 6-17, 6-18, Connecticut and Los Angeles. Opened up 11.5 for LA, down to 9.5 now. Total, not that big of a move, but open 174.5, looking like 175 or 175.5. like I said, the injury report, J.C. Sheldon got traded away from Connecticut. Aaliyah Edwards probably not going to be playing there. That's who they got back from the trade. And Bria Hartley yesterday was downgraded to questionable with an illness. Yesterday morning, I think it was about around this time or a little bit before we started the show. So we'll see if she's gotten any better and she's able to play. But we don't know just yet, Rob Veno. These teams have played twice so far this season. One was a 4-point win for LA. That was a Connecticut cover. And the other one was a 15-point win for the Sparks. And I'm unsure if Connecticut covered that game or not. But there was how do I call it? Remember the clip I sent you, Ravino? A little bit of I call it beef, I guess.
Yeah, that's right.
Rakia
Jackson, yes.
Yeah, but Bria, she's questionable tonight, so we don't know if she's going to be out there. But I'm going to just start off and say her point prop was 8. It was 8.5 last I looked. When she plays, I mean, she's hit that 6 of her last 8 games, I believe. She's hit it both times versus Sparks. We know how bad Sparks defense is. That's the first thing that comes to my mind, at least. How are you looking at this game, Ravino?
I think if I just talk from side perspective first, Skee, I was a little surprised. Well, maybe you shouldn't be surprised because LA doesn't play enough defense to give anybody 11 points. But after watching Golden State lose last night, this game becomes huge for Los Angeles. If they win, they're in a tie for that final playoff spot with Golden State. And they have a game. The very next game after this one is against Golden State. So if they could beat Connecticut tonight and then beat Golden State next game, they're locked in, not locked in, but they would be in the 8th position. And they've come a long way to get into playoff position at this point in time, or at least in a spot where they have an opportunity to make the playoffs. So I think LA is going to play, because for me, at first glance, Skee, it was no brainer. They'll probably score 95 points against Connecticut. I saw J.C. Sheldon get traded. I'm like, well, it's even more of a no-brainer because their backcourt defense basically is J.C. Sheldon. Bria Hartley's hurt. Bria Hartley's sick. Possibly less backcourt defense. The way L.A. pushes the ball up the floor, like we saw against Indiana the other night, going to be a zillion opportunities. I think you said earlier that they've played 2 overs already where full game is concerned. Los Angeles scored over 101 of those, but they've scored 100 points or more in 3 of their last 4. I just can't see Connecticut holding this team under 93 points tonight. The LA team total is 92.5. If this was my only concern, if Los Angeles comes out there and acts like an 11.5 point favorite, let's roll out the balls, and next thing you know, we're in trouble early third quarter, then I probably lose my bet. But the Golden State loss last night kind of has me thinking that, I mean, if Lynn Roberts in that locker room doesn't hype her team up, telling them, hey, listen, we're going to be in the 8th playoff spot if we win this, or tied for it. If we win this game, beat Golden State tomorrow, we're actually are the 8th seed. She'd be crazy not to say that. I think it's meaningful to LA. I think they score. Connecticut stops nobody. I played over 92.5. For me, it was the first bet I made, and I think the strongest bet I made.
I mean, I understand that you are missing potentially Bria. I mean, you don't think of JC as that big of an offensive deal. You just say you think of her more of defense. I mean, Sparks defense isn't good either. Why would we want to exclude the Sparks defense from this equation? That's what I'm thinking. I mean, 175 for both teams seems like it's doable. You must not have enough, or must not have that as much faith as me, I guess, that Connecticut has firepower to score tonight.
Well, it's funny, see, because the other night I played the Connecticut team total over against Phoenix, right? It was 76.5, and they only scored 66.
Okay.
And so,
scarred you.
But in my world, and you've talked to me enough over the last 4 years, I'm always huge on bounce back. And you would figure that after only scoring 66, and they played a good last 3 quarters, they scored 60. Again, when I started doing the math in my head, it's got to go like 94-82 to get there. The odds makers are kind of pricing me out of some of these things. I shouldn't be afraid. You shouldn't have been afraid the other night because LA, Indiana wound up getting to 191 And as we've said a couple of times already, these two teams have played over 180, I think, or close to 180 and then over 180 in 2 games already this season. So no reason not to like it, but I have a lot more faith in the Los Angeles offense against that Connecticut defense.
All right, well, I'm gonna throw a different curveball in here, okay? And
Mm-hmm.
I pretty much say this all the time, no matter if it's WNBA, college basketball, NBA, but if we can't trust you to get stops, how can we expect you to win by a big margin, right? I
Right.
mean, Sparks have been the worst defense all season long. They've been a little bit better. They're second worst the last 5 games, but they're still not good. Even when they're winning these games, I mean, they're allowing their opponents to get their portion. Sparks as a favorite of 7 or more, 0-4 ATS this season. Yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. Um, I think both teams score here, and I don't think the Sparks will play enough defense to cover the spread. I mean, if I put Connecticut and over together, that puts me on Connecticut team total over. The opposite of not the opposite of what you got, but just the other side. So I'm thinking Connecticut and over. Any reason to talk me off of either of those?
Logically, no. Connecticut scored 86 and 88 in the 2 games against LA so far this season. LA won by 15 and won by 4. LA scored 92 and 101. They've both been huge scoring games. And to your point, all you had to do is watch any of these LA games last 10 and realize that they really don't give a blank about defense, right? They kind of remind me of in 1990 Loyola Marymount, where all you care about is getting the ball out of the hoop and getting it down the floor as fast as you can and scoring and hopefully grinding a team down. They did it to Indiana the other night. The game was fast. Indiana was in it until they weren't. And then Indiana tried to make a run at the end. But the Los Angeles core starters, the 4 players, the core 4, are so good at scoring the basketball right now that it's hard to play a full game under with them. I wouldn't do it. And again, like I say, they just don't even care about playing defense. It seems we've said it, right? Their identity is simple. We're going to outscore you. That's what they care about. It's what they do best. It's how they've gotten back into the playoff race.
All right, so we're seeing a lot of the same things. Shout out to Johnny Robinson, said he's a new viewer, loves the show, appreciate you. Mark A says he was on the other stream, that's why we missed him in the chat room. And there goes JD tapping in to say good afternoon to everybody. So I think we did a pretty good job today. 3 games in about 23 minutes. So on that note, we will move it on over to best bets. And yeah, no graphics today. No graphics, I guess, this week, Rob, But I'll ask you, like we usually do, if there's anything you would like to promote, and if you have a best bet for the show, we would love to hear it. If you don't, that is all good.
It might be better that you don't have the graphics, Skee, because the deal right now is flex picks. And every time we talk about flex picks, we get ourselves into trouble. So again, I'm going to try and describe it in a way where I can't get in trouble. Go over to wagertalk.com. Flex picks basically means, I think it's a 3-day package where you can change handicappers as you like. If you think it's a football day and you like a certain football handicapper, you can choose that handicapper that day. It's a special price, reduced price. And again, you're able to maneuver however you want with the sports, with the games, with the handicappers. So go ahead and visit wagertalk.com for the Flex Pick special. I'm going to, we may parlay here again, Skee. I mean, last 2 times we've been on the same game and had different parts of a game. I don't know where you're going, but if it is the LA Connecticut game, I'm going to leave you with LA team total over 92.5. Like I say, the last couple of times that we've had different angles on the same game, it's come through both ways. So if you're on that one as well, maybe we get it again. But for me, it's going to be LA Sparks team total over 92.5.
LA Sparks team total 92.5, right?
92.5, yeah.
I mean, they've been getting damn near 100 every game. So I'm not mad at it. For myself, promo wise, I do have a 5% best bet up for today. I like it quite a bit. So if you want to roll with me, you can see the link to my profile. Rob Veno's profile is down there too on the bottom of the screen. And my best bet for the show. Now I'm gonna change it up, Rob. We have had success with that, but I feel like I've been having success with the best bets on here picking unders. So
Mm.
I don't want to stay in that same game for that. I'm gonna go with Connecticut. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go with Indiana and Phoenix. Trying to see what the best number we can get here. I just think it's two teams. Best number I can get is actually see a 173 out there, and I just usually I would open up my app on the show and put it in there, but I'll do it right after. But these are two teams who've said their focus is defense. Phoenix has held two straight opponents under 70 points. Indiana coming off a game giving up 100 points. I think that like Natasha Howard was saying, they need to get back to playing some defense if they want to have success. So in a game that's pretty important to both of those teams, I like under 173 as my best bet for the show. Vino, I always enjoy breaking these games down with you. Thank you for taking the time to do it. Chat room, we appreciate and we love you as well. Like I always say, great people and great cappers, and we're all just trying to help each other and have a good time. So you guys definitely help make the show what it is. Shout out to everybody on Twitch, X, Kick, Apple, Spotify, and YouTube Shorts. Even that's on there, Ravino. Good old YouTube Shorts. We appreciate all of you for tuning in. We'll be back again tomorrow. We have one, two, three games again. So best of luck on all your action tonight, and we will catch you then.